Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, one and all across the extended plane of our existence. It's another Truth Tuesday here on Truth Frequency Radio. And you've got Paul and Roxanne live. And those of you that are over on YouTube on my channel get to see us live. But welcome to the show. Glad you are with us. And we have got a lot of updates to pass along. And as I mentioned on social media earlier today, Roxanne, we have a special announcement, which we will save to the end of the show. So you got to stick around to hear that. And we have a special guest, and we will get him shortly. But first of all, that's right, the lady on my, let's see, as you look at the screen, on my right, Roxanne the Globalist Denier. How are you?
I'm good. It's lovely to be here. I've been excited for this show, actually, since before Amsterdam. As I know, it was pretty full on for the last couple of weeks, well, a few weeks for you, being out of the States and being on the road. And yeah, this has been highly anticipated from me. There's lots for us to talk about, and especially with our guests. So yeah, I'm really good.
Good to hear. And you've been busy, and I want to make sure that we give a big shout out to the Globalist Tour team.
And the crowd goes wild.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right. The People's Tour. It's going from strength to strength, and I don't even know where to start, Paul. There's a lot. It's a lot. A lot has happened today, yesterday, but all good. It's all happening.
Well, give us. Well, let's make sure that people know what's going on. So just briefly, where's the team right now? Dave Murphy joined the team. If they saw some of the live streams last night, Dave Murphy is now
That's right.
with the team. And where were they today, and what's on tap tomorrow?
Okay, so today they were in Tallinn, in the beautiful country of Estonia, and there was a few locals that came out to meet them and help to hand out leaflets, start conversations, translate between people that weren't too au fait with English. And we also had a Czech-speaking member who's the driver of the tour as well. There was police involvement. There was press there today. It was a full-on day, 3.5 hours of live stream from the beautiful city of Tallinn. And then the tour embarked on their journey back to Riga in the gorgeous country of Latvia. And when we spoke to them this evening and did the live stream with them this evening, they were just outside Riga, and they were going to complete the rest of their journey tonight. So they're bright-eyed and bushy-tailed for the morning.
Things are happening fast, and the media has been kind of getting involved, I hear.
Yeah, we've got the press packs out, and we're starting to get a good few back now that are agreeing to come out and meet us and talk to us. So this is going to be good. We're ramping it up big time.
It's ramping up big time. Exactly. I think that's the so. And we would be remiss if we did not remind folks that this is a community-funded operation. So we need your support, financial support, no matter where you are across the plane. You can be a part of the tour. Throw a couple of bucks in, a couple of quid, what have you. Every little bit counts. Diesel fuel, tolls, ferry fees.
The tolls are a problem as well. Yeah, the tolls are tedious. A lot of the tolls aren't registered on the maps, and they're between 7 to 12 euros per toll. So like we were saying, if you can donate a coffee to a pal or to a colleague, just buy us a coffee as well. Put a $5 in there for us as well, perpetually.
Everybody counts. That's right. Yes. So there's a PayPal link, and if somebody, in fact, would you mind throwing the links in there, the PayPal and the GoFundMe? Go throw those in the chat.
I sure will. I'll do that right now.
And we'll make sure that we say hello to, in the YouTube chat, Brian Stavely and Tommy Rogers.
Hey.
Nancy Demoka, and Jason of the Disbury family, and Globebusters, and going down the list here.
Awesome. Jason's savage. He's got work super early in the morning. He's been up since the crack of dawn.
What's he doing?
He's just not long come off a live stream, and he's up way past his bedtime.
Gosh. And there's this other, I think it's Mark A. Sargent.
Is that guy that keeps on saying I am Mark Sargent?
Yeah, it's probably, I don't know if it's the real Mark Sargent or not. Jesus Flat Earth Football Club Twitter supporter, and Steve Fowler, Tranquility Pyramid, Ted Summer. Good to see everybody over there in the YouTube chat. Thanks again. Appreciate you liking and sharing the stream. Mm-hmm. And, if you are so led, please feel free to definitely donate to the tour and keep those wheels a turning across the continent. Got a few more countries.
Keep us trucking across the tundra.
We're going to be going into December now, so it's going to be awesome. Yeah. And it's really ramping up. Awesome. All right. Let's see. Next order of business. Just a friendly reminder. This was floating around Facebook for the last week. I saw it, I think on Twitter as well. If you are interested in signing up for the Airbnb Antarctica sabbatical, I threw my name in the hat. I would love to go down there for a month.
You did?
Yeah, absolutely.
I would. I'm not sure I get the time to get off though without the kids.
I would never. They're never going to select me. But I decided to apply anyway. So it's a real short application. You just say why you want to go, and you give out your personal information so they can contact you if you are selected to be interviewed. They do it until let's see, it's midnight Eastern time. So we've still got another 6-7 hours if anybody else wants to apply. It's just airbnb.com/sabbatical, I believe, and you can apply to go to Antarctica for a month on their dime and do some science. Nice. And I put on my application, I said I want to go down to Antarctica to film the 24-hour sun. And I said I want proof that we live on a globe and shut all these flat earthers up. So hopefully they'll pick me.
Oh, my fingers crossed for you. My fingers are firmly crossed.
I have no. Yes. I'm not going to be selected, but I just had to do it just in case.
Mm-hmm. Just maybe. You never know. You got to be in it to win it.
That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. And let's see here. The other announcements. Obviously, we've got two conventions, if you will, coming up here this month. The 20th of October in Greenville, South Carolina. We've got Flattoberfest, flattoberfest.com. That's going to be, like I said, on the 20th. And there's also the Shoot the Moon conference in New York. And we'll make sure that we put those links in here as well if you guys would like to check those out. Those are both coming up on the 20th. And, gosh, I'm already getting wind. As I mentioned on the podcast this week, if you guys aren't tuned into the podcast, domelifepodcast.com. But we've got something brewing in Scotland in 2020. We've got something in South Africa in 2020 that I've heard already. We were calling 2019 the year of the convention, but I'm wondering if it's going to be 2020 even, perhaps even bigger.
It's certainly looking that way. There's a lot of things being talked about for next year, so this is going to be very interesting to see how the next 12 months pans out.
That's right. That's right. Very good. All right. And shout out to Good Times for All and Aisling717 in the chat. Love you guys. Good to see you. Flat Out Faith. Zoom Truth. Thanks for being here. All right. Well, those were the main announcements I have. But as I mentioned earlier, we're going to save our big announcement about the future of this show till the end. So you got to stick around. Without further ado, let's bring on our guest.
Yes.
You want to give the context here, a little background, Roxanne?
Sorry, my darling?
How this all kind of came about?
Yes. Well, I had the pleasure of meeting Nir in Amsterdam with his colleague, Assi, who they came out to the convention in Amsterdam, and Nir did an awesome job of interviewing us all and speaking to us all and asking the right questions about why we were there and what we were doing. And I had an excellent rapport with him and his colleague. And off the back of that, we spent the evening together as a group at a restaurant and went back to the campsite. And we really didn't want to just leave it on that note. And we really wanted to do something past just the Amsterdam convention, and we wanted to try and find the next thing that we were going to do to have a conversation. And of course, Paul, your name came up, my darling. And I said, yeah, I think I know that guy. I know that guy, Paul. Met him a couple of times, spoken to him a few times. I think we could probably make this happen. I think we could go on Truth Frequency Radio with Paul. And here we are.
Here I am.
Here I am.
There he is. Hey. Gentlemen, without further ado, Nir Shoshany is on the line with us.
Hello, Paul.
Welcome. Good to hear your voice again.
And good to hear you, and good to see you, Roxanne, as always. And here in Israel, got back from the convention like a week ago, and on the way, I kind of like celebrated my 40th birthday last week, so it was another occasion on the way. And besides that, I got back all thrilled from Amsterdam, and was waiting for this show, and really happy that this opportunity came about. And here we are on with Paul on the plane, right? On Truth Frequency Radio, right? Yeah. So.
Very good, very good. Well, welcome. We're glad to have you, and it was a pleasure to meet you in Amsterdam. I know you got a chance to, I think, interview most of the speakers and organizers there. And tell us a little bit about ESH News, because that's kind of what you were representing, and it sounds like this is your baby. So tell us a little bit about ESH News. Yeah,
I will, of course, tell you a lot about ESH News during the show, and I will tell you the whole process that went through, I know, my reality in the last 6 months or so. And the final result, or the current result, is ESH News. It's kind of like a news broadcast that we're starting here in Israel. First of all, ESH, I want to explain a little bit about where is it come from. First of all, the interpretation of ESH in Hebrew is a fire. But besides that, it's also like the initials of Eretz Shtucha, which is flat earth in Hebrew. So this is like our, flat earth name for this conquest. And actually in Amsterdam we started this whole thing, and with the interviews, and the actual interesting thing that we wanted to do is just talk to the people, because I think that we all like watch YouTube videos, and we watch all the flat earthers talk on each media that we consume. But once you get like the get together and the meeting, the most interesting thing is just the people themselves, and get to know them, and get to know their opinions and what they think. And besides that, I'm also usually find myself in the role of the anchor man, of the one who like gives the questions. This is like the position I picked out for myself in this journey, and because I found out that it's more like interesting to ask the questions, because that way you get like more answers, and you like collect the answers from like different people. And as you know, in this kind of like community that we have, each one is a very unique and special guy, and each one has special opinions, and it's all like very interesting. So this is what we did in Amsterdam, and actually in this current moment I'm continuing this journey. We're here in our show, and we until now we kind of like being concentrated more on with the people in Israel, with the people who don't know what is flat earth in Israel. And from this point that we kind of like created ESH News, we kind of like thought about to approach the people who are flat earthers all over our flat earth. And this is what we did over there in Amsterdam. It was a unique experience for us, first of all, to be for the first time in the convention like that, and of course to meet you and Roxanne, and to talk to the people and all of that, of course.
Yeah, that's great. Well, yeah, thanks for the background, because you kind of probably explained that to everybody. They're asking what ESH News is and that sort of thing. So thanks for that. And when we were talking a few days ago, it's kind of time of year as well, being Yom Kippur. Do you want to talk a little bit about that? I thought it was interesting what you brought up in our kind of pre-show.
Yes, actually, you just caught me in the most quiet time possible in the year in Israel, I think. Usually you can, in the street, there's like lots of noise, even at the nighttime with cars honking and everything, but Yom Kippur is the most quiet time ever because Yom Kippur is considered with the Jewish tradition the judgment day. It's a day that everybody are being concentrated with fasting, with torturing their bodies in order to open their souls and to do their judgment between right and wrong, and being only concentrated with God, and this is what this day is all about. I'm actually I'm pretty sure that there might be some people in Israel that would be a little bit mad at me if they would know that I will do this broadcast at Yom Kippur, because it's kind of like traditional that people would stop their work and stop doing everything. In my perspective, I kind of like figured out that it will be actually a good time because, I'm speaking about God and his flat earth that he created, and about his chosen people, and about the Holy Land. So I think it's a good thing. I don't think God will be too much mad at me today. And besides that, also like it's kind of like important for me to emphasize that I don't know who holds the concept of like that Israel only have like religious people with yarmulkes and going with like long clothes and beards and everything. No, we actually, the majority of Israel are quite secular, and they decide which kind of like, I'm not saying that they're not believing in God. They do believe in God, but they don't take, the religious costumes and the religious habits that Judaism or any other religion have. And just live their life like that, and they're pretty much like more similar to regular Western people that from the United States or Europe. For me, I don't see like if I want to announce my religious perspective right at the beginning of the show, so I won't I will just say that I don't think that I need any kind of mediator between me and God. And it's also like with everything like in life, like with state or science that has to mediate reality to us. He feels that it's job, and I don't think this is. And it usually shows slides that way. So religion takes sometimes the same place, and I don't think that I'm less believer in God or not if I keep the tradition or keep all the commandments that it's written down in our tradition, not even in the Bible. So this is Yom Kippur, and I'm pretty glad that I have the opportunity to do this broadcast over here with you guys. Besides that, just a little bit of introduction on myself, if I may. Right? Yeah. So sure. So as I told you, I'm 40 years old as of this week, and I'm a father of children here, living in Israel, in a city called Rehovot. I have a company that I ran for the last few years or so with my partner Asi, that Roxanne mentioned before, is like my partner in crime, in business, in life, yes. Whatever. Like we're the tag teams. Okay. Oh, by the way, my name. I picked up the nickname for this show. I kind of like jealous of you guys because you're Paul on the plane and you're Roxanne the Globalist Denier. Kind of like reminded me wrestler's name or something like that from the WWE or something like that. So I'll be called for now Nir ESH News Shoshany. Yeah.
I love it. That's what I'm seeing on my screen. Nir ESH News Shoshany. I love it.
Got it. All right. We'll refer to you as that going forward, and we will try and make it stick.
All right, good. And besides that, I want to just talk a little bit about how I ended up with flat Earth, and I started with I have degrees with media and management and logistics, but mainly like my passion, the thing that my hobby that I used to be involved most of my life is media. I used to do like radio shows and TV shows, and kind of like always had something against the media while I was working in there, because it's kind of like I felt some kind of like evil and inside this mainstream media, and it's all kinds of ways the path I found myself, I tried to get out of this mainstream media, to walk sideways. And for me personally, kind of like media that I was most interested in all my life was mainly History Channel and Discovery channels, and I was really like hooked up on them like for years, and used to watch them like hours every day. Used to consume ancient aliens like an heroin addicted or something, and I think I watched like 3 times the entire series, like the whole seasons, and I think
I got sucked
the most
into that as well. I definitely got. You're not the only one, Nir. You're not the only
Yeah,
one.
right.
I was there for a while. I was there for a minute.
I think that the thing that if you tell people about the flat Earth and they consume that much of like hours of television on those channels, they're just embarrassed to admit that they wasted that much time, and they don't want to admit flat Earth because they feel like suckers. I wasted so much years of my life for nothing. Okay, for lies. So this is very frustrating. Anyway. So I think that it was on YouTube. I went to sleep one noon time and woke up, and there was a flat Earth movie on YouTube that kind of like shuffled inside my television, and started watching it. It looked to me as the stupidest thing ever, of course. And and then I was too lazy to get up and switch the. Once it was over, I was too lazy to get up from the chair to switch it up, and another flat Earth movie began. The one of Celebrate Truth. I remember it was of Celebrate Truth, and this one got me from some reason, and I kind of like got involved with that. Got to see the YouTube videos. I was really a fan of Rob Skib at the beginning. After that, with Jeranism, and to be honest, it's kind of like it was kind of like hard to be an Israeli flat earther, because I felt pretty much alone over here. Usually Israelis don't consume media from United States, and also like of course YouTube media from other countries. So I felt kind of like a little bit special, but a little bit alone with this feeling of getting into flat Earth. Of course, I approached my family and got ridiculed, and my friends, and some of them like listened. Some of them said to me, "Oh, come on, Nir, you just got divorced. You finally lost it. Something happened to you. You have a big crisis in your life, and you chose to hook up on this." So yeah, this was kind of like the reactions I got, and I kind of like took it slowly for a year or so, and took the time to just learn this, to learn the material, let's say it like that, to learn what it's all about, this flat Earth. And then like half a year ago, something happened in real life that kind of like changed a little bit. If you remember the Bereshit spacecraft, right? Half a year ago.
Yes.
Supposedly crashed on the moon and stuff like that. So once it was like announced that the Bereshit is gonna fly to the moon, so I was already a flat earther, and people already like told me, "Oh, okay, so now we got the spaceship, an Israeli one, going to the moon. It will prove to you that you're talking nonsense for the last year or so." And I told myself, "Okay, we will see." And from the first moment I saw like the preparation for this Bereshit launch, I kind of like saw that something smelled evil to me. They brought all kinds of like weird celebrities to promote this. They brought it into schools to enrich like children with that. They even have like McDonald's meals with the Bereshit spacecraft to assemble things like that. And with Snoopy, with Snoopy, he was the advocate for the Bereshit. Anyway, so yeah.
Nir, real quick, just letting you know, we got about 1 minute left in this segment, so just wanted to warn you, we're gonna have to go to commercial break here in about a minute.
All right, all right. So the Bereshit kind of like took off, and they said first it's going to circle around the moon and stuff. Then after that, they brought a fake pictures. Have you guys seen the picture of the string with the Earth with the string over there?
Yes.
Yes, that one. And yeah, we'll go to the commercials, and I will get back with the story of once it was landed and everything. Okay? Or crashed or whatever.
We will. So we'll pause here. We're about ready to go to the break. So our guest tonight, just to catch up, people that are coming in late, namely Karen B, who showed up late as usual. We are with Nir Nir ESH News, Shoshany.
Right.
From Israel. There, I make sure I get that to stick. And he's got a lot more to share with us about the Globali awakening in his country of Israel, which we'll be talking about very, very soon. If you'd like to call into the show, we will be taking your calls shortly, and that number is 213-233-3998. One more time, 213-233-3998. And Roxanne and I will be back in about 3 minutes for the second segment with Nir, so don't go anywhere. You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio, your protection from deception. Stick around.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the second segment of tonight's show. You're listening to Paul and Roxanne live here on Truth Frequency Radio, and our special guest, Nir ESH News, Shoshany, from Israel, talking about some happenings over in the Middle East, which we are going to get to. A big shout out to a couple of folks I see over in the TFR chat. Real quickly, though, TFRlive.com/chat, and that is, I see, Lawrence and Mindflux. Hello to you as well. And we're also simulcasting over on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, Paul on the Plane. And hello to those of you that have trickled in during the first segment. Appreciate you being here. Hope you enjoy the show.
Yeah, so far it's great.
So far, that's right. So where we left off, Nir, you were talking a little bit about your, I guess, awakening to the global.
Yes, I guess.
And
last chapter on Paul on the Plane, the Bereshit spacecraft left our Earth and went over to the moon. Brought us all kinds of fake pictures along the way, and it all came out to this interesting and wonderful day that the spacecraft was supposed to land on the moon, and everybody were anticipating. They did a big ceremony over there. They invited the prime minister and the president to this room over there in the Israeli Aeronautics Aircraft Center. It was connected with NASA, and we all been anticipating for the moment that it will land over there. And I told myself, I was a flat earther back then, and I told myself, Nir, listen, if the spacecraft will land on the moon and will bring suitable pictures, worthy pictures of the moon, and everybody will say that the moon landing happened, then Nir, do a favor to yourself, stop believing in flat earth, keep being like everybody else, and
go back to sleep, Nir.
And close this segment in your life. And I really looking forward to that. I wanted to see I wanted to get back to my ordinary life and everything, and stop to talk to people about flat earth. And I was waiting to see what's going on. And Finally, they were about to land. There was like an 80s graphic over there of the spacecraft juggling on the screen over there.
It was
The funny thing is that they told over there in the control room that they stopped communication, and after the communication stopped, still the 80s graphic still moved over there for something like a minute or so. So someone like forgot to move the mouse in the room right beside or something like that. And besides that, it all like finished up completely, like really quickly. They sang the anthem, they closed down the broadcast, and that's it. And I saw that, and I told myself, okay, they didn't even bother to bring a picture, a fake one, something, anything. They just crashed, and that's it. And that's all. It pissed me off so bad. It's kind of like, come on. And besides that, they kind of like announced it as a success. They actually reached to the moon and did that, and almost landed. And it's a great Israeli success, and everybody's supposed to be happy now. And this is the message that came out of all of this project. Okay, they didn't do anything, but it was a great success. Now, on that moment, I told myself, okay, something creepy is going on over here, and I need to be like more active, more something, and started to get into the Facebook, and suddenly I saw it was like a moment, I think, of a big awakening for lots of Israelis. This thing, because part of them bought those BS, well, the majority bought this BS, and even like planned to do Bereshit 2 and everything. And some people told themselves, okay, something smells funny over here, and started to get into I saw for the first time that there's an actual Facebook page of Flat Earth community, הקהילה של Flat Earth, it's called. And for the first time, I can actually see posts that the Israeli Flat Earthers are posting, and this is the first communication that I have ever with like Flat Earthers ever. Now, and I started writing posts over there in this Facebook page, but and to tell you, like, I don't know what you think about Facebook action or activity, but it has like some kind of like positive sides and some kind of like negative sides, in my perspective. For the one hand, it's a good meeting place for flat earthers, and for Israeli flat earthers, it's give them them Israeli styles, or with like a connection to Israeli news, like the Bereshit spacecraft, and it gets like also this page got a little bit of media coverage. They're saying, oh, there's like people over here in Israel that believe in flat Earth. It's great, and it's a stage to share, flat Earth thoughts with people in your own country, with your own language and everything. So these are like the positive side. But the negative, I kind of like found it out pretty soon that this group, once I entered it had like 2,000 members. Okay, I said, wow, there are 2,000 people over here in Israel that believe in flat Earth. And I found out pretty quickly that most of them are not really flat Earth believers. Some of them are just people who like to enter weird groups or whatever. Some of them are trolls. Some of them are like people who just, like arguments and get into these groups to argue with everyone. Or, as I defined it, as the worst kind of people, okay, the one who are like flat Earthers and just like to stay on Facebook, okay? They're not the worst kind of people, but they are kind of like a type of people that kind of like only stay on Facebook, and it's kind of like I see that as a golden cage in some way, meaning that you can blab on Facebook all day, and it won't take any effect on the outward, on the activism of like influencing other people. So the first conclusion I got is to get out of Facebook, or to get out of the activity on Facebook and start to be active in real life, because this is what matters. To do something else that affects other people. I see you nodding here, Roxanne, and
I'm really relating to what you're saying. I think the fact that you've transitioned from coming out of that box where you realize that the outreach is only so far, and just where you said, yeah, I needed to do something real world. like in real life, with real people, real human interactions, look into the whites of others' eyes and have a real life conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is what I did actually. The next post I posted in this group was to hold a meeting, okay, over in my living room, and I published it. I said, okay, we got a meeting that and that date. We're doing it. I decide now. Everybody come to Rehovot, to my living room. We'll do a flat Earth meeting, and I wrote down the schedule, whatever, and waited whoever comes along. There were 15 people came over to that meeting, and
very good.
On that meeting, I kind of discovered first of all about Israel. It has a downside, as I told you, because it's kind of a little bit disconnected from European and American media, and it's kind of things from outside of Israel don't come, opinions from outside of Israel don't enter in Israel. Here we have enough of our own, okay, to share. So, but on the other side, Israel is a very, very small country, okay? Meaning that people from each part of the country can meet up in a matter of several hours to get from one place to another and to hold some kind of a meeting like that with a common interest of all the people who have this common share of interest in one thing. So I got 15 people, and there were amazing people that came over. Everyone has this own field of activism or field of interest that is a specialist on. And besides being flat earthers, there were absolutely wonderful people, interesting, funny. This is one of the other things I kind of noticed in the Amsterdam Convention. Everyone I interviewed was a really, fascinating and interesting man. Talking to flat earthers is not like talking to anyone else. It's your minds open up immediately, and you're starting developing yourself throughout the conversation. And it's on that meeting, I got a tremendous feeling that I have partners to go with, okay? That I have people to go with me to this battle or whatever I am planning on spreading on flat Earth in Israel. And we kind of on that evening formed the Shtuchistim group, okay? Shtuchistim. Now, Shtuchistim, it's flat Earthers in Hebrew, okay? Now, we have a real problem with that name, to be frank about it. Because Shtuchistim, it's kind of have a negative context. We still haven't been able to find a proper Israeli word for flat earthers. It's kind of the meaning. It's kind of a shallow person, or I don't know. If you're talking about a guy, if you're talking about a girl, it means a girl who's flat-chested. So it's kind of problematic. Not many girls want to join our group with that name. Anyway, so we formed this group, and we said, okay, we got a group now. We got talented people. We got interesting people. Let's start doing stuff. And the first thing we did an event. We went in a local pub. One guy, kind of a friend, agreed to give us the pub for a night, and we invited people. It was free entrance, and for that night we brought 2 lecturers that people got in, and we even formed a band. Okay, for that night especially, it was called the Flat IL band, and it was an answer to the Space IL. It was in the same time with the Space IL in Bereshit, so we made the Flat IL band. And they even made a cover of Jabba's "The Earth is Flat," The Earth is Flat. They did it the version in Hebrew. So I will put this on after the show, something like that. It was a great evening, okay, and we got a good media attention over there. We got a news writer from Yediot Achronot. It's the main newspaper in Israel, the biggest one. He came over to cover this event, and actually on that weekend afterwards, it got published in the weekend edition of this newspaper, and it was really a big thing. It was a big article on double spread, and it got pictures and everything. and pretty much of a good interviews. Till that point, every interview that I saw in all the websites and newspapers pretty much ridiculed this theory.
Yeah.
But over there in this newspaper, in this article, it kind of like it showed a balance. Let's say like a little bit of a balanced approach, pretty much. And after that, all kinds of like a big attention came up to the flat Earth. It was like I don't know, a month or so that kind of like it seems that all the media in Israel kind of like wanted to invite people that are involved with flat Earth, and this wasn't like our biggest. I said it like. The biggest thing that happened to us, like a week after this event, we suddenly saw that on Facebook, someone is publishing an event which is called "The Ball is Round," okay, and it was a convention of the round ball believers, okay, people who believe that the Earth is a ball are doing a convention in order to prove everyone that the Earth is still a ball, and to a little bit of laughs on flat earthers. So it wasn't. I saw that from one side. I thought, okay, people are investing money and efforts to get laughs on me. It's interesting. But from the other side, I couldn't help but feeling flattered. Okay, like okay, I did something. I did some kind of event, and it pissed off probably a couple of people that they are doing the same kind of event in Tel Aviv in the Cinematheque. It's kind of like a cinema library. Okay, it's a public place, and somebody probably financing it from the government. So and they are producing an event that is contradict my event. Let's say it like that. So it was great, and we actually showed up to this event, and we recorded the show beforehand. We came into this library, and just an hour before the show, and we decided that we are taking our next show right in front of this library. And this was our activism part, and it was a great show, I remember. And afterwards, we kind of like entered this convention and filmed all the smart people that were speaking over there. And yeah, it was kind of like funny and all together. Anyway, have you encountered in your country kind of like conventions like that of people who are trying to tell people that the Earth is a ball?
Not yet. We've had the equivalent to like real life online trolls at Speaker's Corner, people that kind of perpetually come down to speak over the top of us to kind of misrepresent what we're saying, and we call them ballers or balltards or globetards or. But yeah, those are the ones that I can vouch for. I don't know, but what do you reckon, Paul? Have you got any events around near where you are where Globers hold events to mock flat earthers? Yeah,
that's. I think that's the right approach, Nir. I would be
kind of flattered.
I would be flattered too that somebody was putting together a convention to. I mean, why would they need to do that? It's settled science. I mean, seriously.
I would have like what's his name from the Three Amigos? You know, when they all get him a sweater and he's like, "You guys, you got me a sweater." Like they went to all that trouble. You went to all that trouble, guys.
Exactly. Oh, that's very interesting that they would do that, and it was obviously it sounds like a knee-jerk reaction to.
Yeah, they brought a scientist, like a professor over there, and they brought a stand-up comedian, and they brought a guy that reads poetry, and a guy that plays a song. And okay, I won't further. Maybe I will put some parts of that thing that was filmed also in the show later on. You'll see how ridiculous it was. Anyway, so after that, or as long as we did that, we started our own show. We told ourselves we want our own show, and we got like a studio over here in Israel, which is called We Act. It was like a nice studio that kind of like gives a stage to people with a little bit of like social issues, with people with all kinds of like any crazy things they want to say over on television. They never got the opportunity to do so. So we got a show over there. I told myself in that point, I'm going to be the host of the panel. I will going to take the whole show on myself, and I'm going to bring my fellow friends and flat earthers to be hosting on my show. And we did like 6 shows over there. It was an amazing experience. And I kind of like in this show, it was called Nir ESH, like a ESH show, okay? And I kind of like in this show, I try to edit the whole flat Earth story for the Israeli crowd, okay, just to give them the story. I discovered that on this journey, I discovered that editing, okay, and telling the story correctly of the flat Earth is a little bit more important than to tell the whole actual facts or details or everything that we know. I kind of like discovered that to tell the story correctly is the way to bring the flat Earth into people's heart. Okay, let's say it like that. And so I started. We did the first show was on NASA and the fake moon landing. The second one was the heliocentric light. The third one was flat Earth in the Bible. Fourth was fake media. Fifth was experiments and observation. And the best show ever, the sixth one, was actually called 666. It was on Satan, and it was one of the most hilarious show I ever did, and it was a great experience. I'm really considering to translate to English whatever went down in the studio over there, and I will do it pretty soon. And you will see the show on Satan is a must. I'm telling you that.
Oh wow!
Anyway, so we did those ESH news, and along with the way, we kind of like hosted in lots of like other TV shows and radio shows. And if you remember, like earlier, I talked about my family. Okay, my family, my mother and my father and my brother. That I came to them. They are like secular as hell. Let's say it like that. Okay.
Oh wow.
They don't believe in any God. They are like very not scientific, but pretty much of like secular people. And once I started with this flat Earth, they kind of like avoided in any given chance to speak about it and to, encourage this new craziness of dear old Nir. So anyway, I kind of like puzzled between myself how I will find the way to bring the flat Earth into their heart. Okay, so my parents kind of like an old-fashioned. Whoever they see on television, they probably think is a big shot or important or whatever. So I told myself, okay, we'll do a TV show, and we show. My mother will see me on television, and we say, okay, we'll be interested in flat Earth. So I went out to television. I finished the show. I asked my mother, okay, seen the show, how was it? She said, oh, Nir, you spoke so nicely, and you dressed absolutely stunning. Yeah, but what I talked about. No, you look fabulous. You look fabulous. But okay, so those were my parents. But afterwards, I thought about my brother. Okay, and I thought about he's the guy that you can't like reach him with anything related with God, with anything. But he's interested in sports. Okay, and he kind of like introduced me for the last 2 or 3 years or so to a podcast of a guy called Oren Yosipovich. He's a really famous journalist in the sports field, and he has this podcast that is doing 2 or 3 times a week. Usually, it's on sports.
Right.
And I told myself, okay, I need to reach to my brother's heart. Here's what I'm going to do. I approached this Oren Yosipovich guy, and I told him, okay, we're doing like I'm now into flat Earth, and there is like this team you mentioned before, the Flat Earth Football Club. Yeah. So they are like hot on the news now because they are like flat earthers and everything. This is your connection with sport and flat Earth. Come, invite me to your show. I will show up and we'll talk about flat Earth for 1 hour. And he actually agreed. And for this program, I took my brother, okay, and I sat him down in the studio, and I told him, Guy, now you're gonna listen to Flat Earth for 1.5 hours, and you're going to be smiling because you are in this studio along with the guy that you love. and you have nowhere to go. This is what you do right now. You need to hear Flat Earth for about 1 hour, and that's it. And he was thrilled like after this show, and it was a great show. And this show got a huge reaction on the Facebook page because lots of people didn't really realize why there isn't like a sports show. Why there's a flat Earth show? Why did he like invited us to the studio over there? And so we got all those kind of like a little bit bad reactions after the broadcast, what was kind of like predicted. But once we got these reactions, I got crewed all my flat Earth buddies, and they got into this post and started posting against them. And at the end, it was like 1,000 comments over there over this particular post, and it was a big blast over there. So this is kind of like what kind of things that we did along the way. It was and today, like we got into this point that we finished the ESH show, and we're starting the ESH news that I spoke about it before, and we want to approach again people from all over the flat Earth, and to give them kind of like a realization about what's going on over here in Israel, and. I will want, I guess, do we have time, Paul, in this segment, or we need to go?
Yeah, we're getting close to the end of the second segment. So,
okay, good. So on the next one, I'm gonna shout out for a little bit of respect and honor for the Israeli flat earthers over here. That they are not only flat earthers, they are also my friends and my buddies and my companions along the way, and I want to give them a little bit of respect and I know exposed to the big world, because till now we only been in Israel, and yeah, we'll continue on the next one.
Yep, shout them out.
All right, good.
No, I'm serious. Go ahead and shout them out.
Oh, no. I want to do a whole presentation of that. It's on the next segment. Okay.
Oh, okay. All right. These are the kind of the heavyweights in Israel when it comes to this subject, right? And that's kind of what we're.
Yeah. Those are the heavyweights, and those are like the ones who kind of like inspire me every day to keep on doing my job.
Awesome. Great. Okay. Well, cool. Well, yeah, it seems like it's happening fast there in Israel. I'd like to kind of get a sense, from you when we come back from the break here. It seems like the number of people that are kind of awakened to this whole globe deception thing are a lot larger than maybe you originally thought, because once you started putting yourself out there, people came out of the woodworks, as we say.
Yes,
right?
I guess so. Yes, and the thing is that Israel, regarding the people, usually you tell about Israelis and Jewish people that you put two Jewish people in the room, you got like 4 different opinions. Okay, so
we're going to the break. So hang on to that thought. Good way to close out the first hour here on Truth Frequency Radio. So Roxanne and I will be back with Nir here. Sure. 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere. A lot more to come tonight. Hope you're enjoying the show, everybody. Well, welcome back one more time to Truth Frequency Radio here. Paul and Roxanne are live. Tonight's guest is Nir ESH News, Shoshany, and he's sharing a little bit about the global awakening in Israel. And it's been really cool to kind of hear from Nir here the first hour of the show about how things kind of evolved over a very short period of time, it appears. You kind of put yourself out there, Nir, and things started happening, and now there's some pretty prominent YouTubers like we have in the States, like we have in Europe and in Brazil, but there's some pretty prominent names in Israel. It sounds like you're involved with. You want to talk a little about that as we head to hour 2 here?
Yes, I guess so. First of all, each time you say Nir ESH News Shoshany, I kind of like imagining the entrance with the smoke and the music and everything, So it's continue on doing that. Anyway, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Israeli flat earthers. And one thing beforehand, before I'm going to speak about them, that I want to say that I think it was the most charming thing like ever that I discovered throughout this process. Okay. We are a bunch of people that each one is like being involved in different fields, is interested in different fields inside the flat earth, and they all like doing different kind of like shows or different of like activities besides like shows and the internet and things like that. So the first thing that I discovered is, this is like a really key component to this whole thing, and you pretty much feel quite the same, I believe, is that there is no leader. Okay, no leader. Meaning, there's no one like subjecting like what to do and how to do it. Everyone doing whatever he wants by his own, or like being the assistance of other people who is like the same thing. There's no like levels. There's no positions. There's no like. There's some people who are good at some things more than others, but those others are good at other things than the other ones. So there are like no leaders, and this is like our slogan for this journey of ours. That once there's no leader, everyone are like equal, and everyone and there's no like competition even. Okay, there's no even we don't compete between each other. We always like give good words after each and every one of us are doing his show or video or something like that. And this is one key component of this whole thing. While you're eating your baklava, I see that you are like nodding over there, Roxanne, right?
Yeah, I'm in a happy place right about now. I'm listening to you. I mean, this is a good look.
And don't call it baklava or something like that. Baklava, okay?
Baklava, yeah.
No, not baklava. Baklava.
Baklava.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna get it right.
Anyway, so we're gonna talk first about my favorite, Marcus Franco. He's one of the oldies in the Israeli flat earth scene. His shows are called the Olam Shatuach Flat Earth, like 1 to 10, meaning he started off with level 1, and each couple of months he upgrades the level into 2, 3, 4, 5, and now it reaches 10. Okay, now it's like he actually brought it up from 9 to 10, like right after I got back from Amsterdam. He told me he actually had an interview not a long time ago with Rob Skiba over the phone. And he told me, okay, you coming back from Amsterdam. I talked with Rob Skiba. I'm bringing the level up. So now it's Olam Shatuach 10 called his show. And I wrote down type of activism, yelling in the car and participating in flat earth panels. His kind of like communication is very minimal, okay, but it's great. It's awesome. It's very theatrical and a little bit of loudish and doing like. I personally adore him. I think that he's a great actor and is a great person, and he's also like really smart. But he does it usually while driving in the car. He's like he's publishing something like 2 or 3 videos each week or so. And he just yells at, I don't know, the word of like selling him a lie or something like that, or about that water doesn't curve, or things that interest him, and he wants to transmit to the Israeli public. And he's actually from, his origin is from Uruguay, okay, he's Latino, so he speaks Hebrew and Spanish and English. And he brings his Latino heat into the show, and this is the thing that I like about him. And also, like, he participated in most of my panels. He's like my go-to guy when I'm looking for someone in the panel that will uplift the panel and will give his creative thoughts and will create some kind of like a minimal mayhem on the studio. So this is Marcus Franco. One other guy that I wanted to talk about was one of the head ones. Actually can't say his name and I won't say what he's doing, but he's the kind of like a religious guy, so he asked me not to mention him on Yom Kippur, but he's a guy that usually do great presentations to explain Israel is what flat earth is, and he usually participates in all the mainstream interviews on the media.
Right.
Now, third guy that we got is Avishai Sapir. He's got a YouTube channel calls Back to FE, to Flat Earth. His specialty is about photography and cameras, and he has all those Nikon cameras, and he brings the tremendous shots like of the moon and the sun and all the spotlights of the sun, and I really like his videos because he's also like a video editor. So he knows how to give those to edit it in a really nice and smoothing way with a nice chilled music and give his message and everything. So he's a really professional in that one. His fields of flat Earth interest is flat Earth observation, experiments, and the firmament.
Wow.
Okay,
You've
we
got
go
a good
on.
cross-section of content makers then, really, haven't you?
Yeah. We got Guy Tal. He's the one who's was in charge and do lots of technical work on the WEAC channel that we broadcast the ESH show on. He claims to be in flat earther for about 20 years or so, and he's got a show called Is Real, which is kind of like a play forward with Israel, and he's usually show hosting and international producer, he calls himself, and he usually involved in flat earth origins, text and cultures, and alternative media. And he also like Argentinian origin, so he speaks Spanish and also brings his Latino spirit. Now I wanted to talk also about Avner Choshen. He's not the one who has got a YouTube channel, but he's the one I'm defining as the activist, okay? Which is not more, but even more, not less, but even more important than guys that have YouTube channels, being the activist, being the one on the street, and he's the one who's trying to get into political parties in Israel. I will talk about it. I will talk about it soon about the political connection in Israel. Is pretty much interested in flat earth in the Bible, media, politics, and his type of activism is street activism, political activism. Is one of my also favorite guys that I got to be a friend with. And on me, I kind of like think that I spoke enough, but I want to, if I'm speaking about ESH News and about our channel, I want to also to remind, although he doesn't like it very much, I want to remind my partner, Asi,
massive shout out to Asi. How do you say?
Yes.
How do you?
Is
AC.
that how? No, it's like the Israeli
Asi.
name is Asi, or like the full name is Asaf, and when he goes to abroad, he is calling himself AC because it's cooler. You get to make that, of course. Anyway.
Shout out to AC. That was lovely meeting him as well.
He's actually my partner. And we're doing like everything together. We always have this, share of jobs and things that each one of us is doing good, and we kind of like know each other by heart. So it's really fun to work together and without each other. Yeah. Anyway, so this is Asi, pretty much these are the main ones, but there are like lots of other people. For instance, the guy that if you remember in the video I sent you that you showed on your show of the activism in the street of Amsterdam.
Yes.
There was this cool music over there. So the music is an original music of a guy called Doron Piker. He's one of the famous musicians and music producers in Israel. Oh. And actually, for this show, he produces us with this song, and it's kind of like he promised to bring us more like tracks like that we'll be able to fit into our videos.
Brilliant! Oh, yeah. That's brilliant. Wonderful.
So
No, that was a nice little skit from that person. So yeah, well done them.
Hey, Nir, can I ask you, I'm just curious, this is, when we spoke face-to-face in Amsterdam, you said really just the last 6 months, things have, I don't remember what the term was, but I walked away from the conversation thinking that things are, were exploding when it comes to, waking up to the, globe deception just over the last 6 months. So is that really what you've experienced, that things have really taken off as of late?
Yeah. This is what I'm experiencing because I'll tell you my test was like once I got back from Amsterdam, I decided that I'm gonna talk with everyone I know on the way, on the plane, in the airport, whatever, on flat Earth, and especially like Israelis. And
Right.
I kind of like figured out that I'm talking about them. Okay, I'm doing like flat Earth stuff, and they know what is flat Earth. Okay, and this wasn't like that like half a year or a year ago. Okay, they didn't know what is flat Earth, but nowadays. I won't say that every Israeli know what is flat Earth, but everyone is kind of like heard about it with like article or something like interviews you got or something like that. They have this concept in their head. So this is one accomplishment that we got over here, and the flat Earth believers are getting increased by numbers each day, and I see it happening also like in our Facebook groups, and also like when I started it. None of my friends actually believed in that. But nowadays, like I see that my friends are getting more interested with that. And this is another like small accomplishments that we gathered in the last 6 months or so. And once, and actually like what my conquest in driving to Amsterdam and also like getting on your show and like in general now is to explain people in all kinds of countries all over the world to try to give them, I don't know, advices. I don't know, it sounds a little bit presenting or whatever, to give them advices how to promote flat Earth in their home country. Okay, I think it's a very important process because there's some people probably in small countries in Europe or any other countries on the world, so that they discover flat Earth and kind of like want to get this flat Earth movement getting rolling in their home countries. So I'm trying to draw the steps that I made in this quest in order that people will learn something and will try to put them into use in their home countries. So this is my conquest, and if anyone will take one of my examples, whatever, I'll be more than happy that he did that.
Brilliant.
Now, I wanted to speak with you about the Holy Land. Let's talk about that. Yeah, dear old Israel.
Now we're going to get to the good part.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, when I was with some people that, who was coming on the show, and one of them was, the perspective, I think, in a lot of the world, and this is something that I probably shared for a while until I started doing my research. But, when you think of the country of Israel, you think of, at least for me, for a long time, was a picture of an Orthodox Jew, with the clothing and the hair and that whole Bible literacy. And so that was the question that was coming up a lot, was like, well, isn't there a big population of very Orthodox Bible believing, and I'm talking about the Torah, I'm talking about the Old Testament of the Bible, and Bible literacy, because they are walking a path of literally, what the Bible, they are recognizing the Sabbath, they are recognizing the feasts and things like that. Well, you would think then, especially, when we look back at the Hebrew culture, ancient civilization and how they perceived the world to be, it was, it was an extended plane, with a firmament, and it definitely wasn't this spherical earth. So, there was a thought, I think, for a while. I guess what I'm trying to say is that we would have assumed that those that were Bible literate would have caught on to this, wouldn't have ever been fooled by the globe deception. What's your take on that?
Yeah, I think that as I told you before, like the majority of Israelis are secular people. They don't usually do all kinds of like what we call mitzvah. It's like a commandment that the God gives us to do. They live like regular Western people, but the religious guys in Israel, I think. First of all, flat Earth is much more suiting to them than the global lie. That's for sure, because they're closer to the Bible, and yes, and the Bible describes this flat Earth, and in the first chapter, and all and some of the rest, of course.
Yeah, talking about.
I think that they are one step because they haven't been exposed to the flat Earth theory. They haven't adopted it yet, okay? Or they're thinking this kind of like theory is like something which is pretty much advanced and a technological thing that people are being involved in right now, and they don't want nothing to do with that. But once they get into learning that, they will understand that it's right next by their theory, okay, right next by to their belief in God, because those guys also don't believe in the Big Bang, in evolution, in all those things. So they are very close by, and I think that they are the ones that we should approach to with introducing them with flat Earth, and because they are the closest one. And I also think that there is a large community over here in Israel of people who are involved with New Age, okay, like energetic treatments and astrology and nomology and all kinds of things that are gathering underneath the name New Age. And those ones, I think, they are also very close in their perception to flat Earth. Well, I guess in another show I can come and start to explain to you what I think about astrology and how it's got to do with flat Earth, and about this whole network of energies that we got over here. It's kind of like a field that I'm trying to research myself in flat Earth, but this is for another show, I guess.
Well, let's definitely. I want to leave some, leave a little bit of time at the end of the show, because Roxanne and I are going to talk a little bit about our special announcement. Let's definitely keep moving. So.
Yes, about Israel itself as a country, okay, as a place. Yeah. I feel that not all the people over here are religious, okay, but most of the people over here have the plain simple belief in God, okay. They believe in God. They are spiritual people, because over here in Israel, I don't know even how to describe it to you in words, okay, but the energies that are running and all the coincidence and all the things that kind of like looks like I don't know, a miracle that happened, kind of like goes over here on an ordinary basis, okay? And so people, it brings a lot of faith and a lot of belief in God, and the thing is that religion took over in Israel kind of like a political stand, okay? So this is why lots of the people are avoiding it, because they're thinking to myself, okay, I will need to be a religious guy, and I will have to keep Shabbat, and I will have to vote to all the religious parties, and to become that guy. So a lot of people are avoiding that, keeps on with their lives. They're still believing in God. They don't look as a religious people. They don't do like religious customs, and that they, like me, they believe that their connection with God should come directly, not with like any kind of like mediator on the side, not like with a rabbi or a religion that will tell you what to do on the way. So, but the junction of the energies over here nowadays and throughout history was amazing, because if you check out history, all the great revolutions, all the great prophets just walked through this land and brought all kinds of like big revolutions. The first one was the one of Abraham, that God told him to cross over the Jordan River and get into this land of Israel, because he told him, over there I will make you a great, from your seed I will make a great people and the chosen people. And he brought actually the monotheistic faith into the world, okay. And after that we got like Moses and Jesus and Muhammad, and everyone were over here. Everyone in some point of history came over here to this Holy Land, because they felt this is like an energetic junction. Things can happen over here. Things can evolve over here. And from my perspective, like since I started Flat Earth, I always saw that there's like kind of like connection from all this theory to this land, okay? And I myself, I'm quite familiar with this land. I am quite familiar with the Hebrew language, which is I think is a unique language. I'm feeling lucky actually that I got to be born into this country and to learn this Hebrew language, language that the Bible is written in it originally, the language that I can understand the language in a way that almost nobody else in this world can understand. So I feel pretty lucky on that. And about this Holy Land, I kind of like felt from the beginning that it kind of like it's not a coincidence that I was born in this land. I learned media. I kind of like got exposed to Flat Earth. I also, like in my previous jobs, I used to host people in Israel, people from other countries in Israel in like tourism programs. So I got everything kind of like connected me together with this land, with who I am, with everything, with what I did in the past, all together kind of like crossed into this one thing that gave me this felt that it's not happening by coincidence. It's not happening, this is kind of like felt an act of God or something like that, to be that much spiritual on this Yom Kippur day. So this is what I feel about Israel, and I think that once the exploration over here of Flat Earth and the energies themselves will begin, also by Israelis as we do over here, and mainly but by people from other countries, something big is going to happen. I can't really tell why or what is going to happen, okay? But I think that something is going to happen to the Flat Earth movement that will come out of here, from this piece of land. You can call me one, prophet, or crazy Israeli fanatic or whatever. Okay, but this is how I feel because I know this land and I know there is something special about it. And I know I think that people all over the world kind of like see that something is happening over here. We always are like in the news. We are always like in action over here, and this is actually what's happening. This is why, like,
special feeling about it, didn't you? You said there's a special feeling that something big's going to happen in the Holy Land.
Yeah, and it's like the thing is that I'm kind of like I was astonished that everything we did, all the programs, the event, the meetings, all of that happened in only like less than 6 months. Okay. The type of activism that is typical to Israelis is amazing. Okay, it's like they decide to do things, so they're doing right on, and let's do it now together. Do it, and it's like and this is also one of the reasons I think that something good is going to come up from over here, and also like I mentioned earlier. Politics. Okay, I know that also like we don't like to talk about politics with Flat Earth, to mix them together because it always gets wrong, and also like we don't usually discuss between our Flat Earthers. We don't discuss about politics, and from what you hear over the world about what happens in Israel with politics, no one wants to get involved with that thing. It's like fire, and. But I do want to speak a little bit about politics from the aspect of how it can help the Flat Earth movement. Okay, in Israel we got like how much maybe it looks like we got like harsh politics, but we actually have a very open politics, meaning that anyone in Israel, okay, can form a party on any given subject that he goddamn wants. Okay. We got like in the last election or so, something like 40 parties, okay, running to the elections. 40 parties with all kinds of like crazy subject from, legalization of pot and, men's right and all kinds of guys who do meditations and all kinds of like internet pirates and all kinds of like really small parties that it's sure that they won't like, get into the parliament, but they're giving it a shot. And I told myself that in the next election or so, I will try and make the effort and form a Flat Earth party here in Israel.
Hey, Nir, go to the break. So I'm going to have to cut you off. And the last thing I heard was the Flat Earth party.
ESH party.
I want to get tickets to that because it sounds like a real Sounds like a lot of fun.
Sure.
All right. We are headed to the final break tonight. You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio. Paul and Roxanne are live with Nir Shoshany. And when we get back from the break, Roxanne and I have a little announcement to make. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. All right, welcome back to the show. Paul on the Plane, Roxanne the Globalist Denier with you. And Roxanne, we got a little breaking news, don't we?
Wow.
That's right, people.
Oh.
I hope you're all sitting down.
Hey, you got kind of serious there.
I know. I found some breaking news music. It's a nice sound effect.
Whoa.
It
You
blew-
got me sat down.
I think.
I'm all paying attention.
All right. Without further ado, Roxanne and I have been discussing the future of the show, and we thought it time for a change. And so this is going to be the last episode of Paul on the Plane Live here on Truth Frequency Radio.
It's a wrap. We're done out here.
That's it.
We're done.
That's it.
We're done.
But
it's gone so great. We're done.
yeah, you can't improve on perfection.
We're
So
done. Nir's the last one, and after that it's a wrap. And it's been nice knowing you all. And we'll exit stage left, and that'll be that.
that's right. But there's also some additional breaking news, and that is that there's
Wait. Yes.
Where's the cymbal crash? Anyway, go ahead.
I like can we have the first one back? I like the first one better, Paul. Can we do the first one again for the second piece of breaking news?
You want? Oh yeah, absolutely.
I like the first one. It had me better, yeah.
Reporting live from the scene, we're headed over to Roxanne Glenn. Roxanne, take it away. What's the scene there?
Okay, so we have a breaking piece of news for everybody. Paul on the Plane Live has got a massive announcement about the show that you're listening to right now with myself and him. I feel like we might just keep tossing and turning until one of us is brave enough to put it out there.
Just spit it out. Go ahead, Roxanne. I'm gonna let you do the honors.
Okay, so Paul and myself were going back and forth for quite a while and mulling it over about the future of what we're doing here. And we came up with a name. Am I allowed to say the name? Is that what I'm allowed to do? Am I good?
I think so, yeah. I mean...
I hope I get it right, because I didn't write it down. So I hope I burnt it into my head, because it is, the kind of name that you wouldn't forget. Unless it was 2:30 in the morning. But no, it's absolutely fine. We have called it dum 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 dum.
Drum roll again? Okay, hang on.
The Globalist Show with Paul and Roxanne.
There it is, people.
Woo! Yeah.
There it is. So we've been doing some rebranding. We're very excited for this new direction. It was time to get my name off of the show title and call it what it is, and that is the Globalist Show with Paul and Roxanne going forward. So we're really excited to announce that, and you'll be seeing some changes to the show as far as the branding goes and things like that. So we're really excited to announce that. Thank you very much, everybody. We can hear the rounds of applause and all of the excitement out there, even though we can't hear you. We feel it. We feel it.
Yeah, man. I can feel it in the air. Yeah, big time.
That's right. All right. Thank you, dear, for letting us have a little bit of fun there during the show. You cut all that out.
People in Israel just got up at 4:00 and went out of their bed, out of their fasting, and just went to the street and applaud for the new name. And this is what's happening right now in Israel.
I love it. Thank you, Nir. Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right. We're going to get back. So, again, Nir Shoshany is our guest. ESH News is the platform that sounds like it's really taken off. So we're really excited to hear about the awakening going on in Israel. And you were talking before the break, and we've still got, we've got a good 20 minutes left in the show. So I'd like to hear about the feeling you're getting about the Holy Land and the Globe Lie.
Yeah, this is actually part of my quest over here. And I think before I will talk about my plans, I will speak a few minutes about one important thing. God created man in his image. Remember that from Genesis, of course.
Yeah.
And I was always like struggled with that thing because I said to myself, no, God doesn't look like the man. Okay, in Hebrew, the word that they use is tselem. He was created in the tselem of God, which is kind of like in the interpretation of that word is image. Okay, so it's kind of like similar to God, but not exactly like God. Like an image is similar to a person, but not really a person. And I kind of like struggled in my head. What is God like similar to the man? Okay, and what I got to was the actual main characteristic of God, which is he's the creator. And the thing that the people, that the humans do different from any other animals is to create. Okay, to create art, to create industry, to create anything, music. This is what people do. They create things. And this whole journey of mine, I think it's a journey of criticism. Okay, not really. The flat Earth is not just a platform. It's a beautiful theory, but it's actually a good excuse for me to be creative, to do something in this world, to bring it from non-existed to existed. And this is, I think, our main purpose of any person in this world. So with that thought in mind, I remember rushing into Roxanne on a rainy Amsterdam day to do this activism over there. And I was rushing to the train station and met all the guys over there with the signs and explaining people. And then I got into Roxanne. I think she was in kind of like an enthusiastic mood as well on that day.
No. Every enthusiast.
So
she was off.
We got like do like a conversation, and sparks went all over the place. And we talked about the kind of like plans of things that we can do in Israel for the flat Earth worldwide. And we talked about we refer the word like convention, okay, because this is like the generic thing to do, in a country that wants to attract flat earthers and flat Earth activity, to do like a convention.
Bring them out of the woodwork, bring them out into the public, and let people know that there is places that they can go.
Yeah, exactly. But what we thought about, and maybe I myself a little bit afterwards, is that I don't want it to be like a convention, okay? Because I'm thinking that if people will come to Israel, I want to give them much, much more, like to make it a thing which will be meaningful for the whole movement in general. Because I think in Israel, it's not like a place that it's a place that you can come to convention. We have like nice venues and everything, but it's an opportunity to explore the land, to see the holy places, to do like experiments, okay, over here in Israel, in places like the Sea of Galilee or the Dead Sea or places like that that we can do like experiments on, and to do like a whole thing, a whole production of flat Earth activity, let's say like that. And we also talked about the activism in front of all kinds of science institutions over here in Israel, or to think about the right place to do that. And it could be like a big production. It's kind of like a fantasy of mine, and also I even like fantasize about, sometimes at night I fantasize about any other kind of like other social activity that we can create in things like that. I know me and Asi always have this dream of making, get that, Roxanne, of making a flat Earth club. Okay, flat Earth club,
okay.
like like Ibiza club, yeah. And it kind of has, all right. Now,
so flat earthers just want to get together and have a good time. Is that where this is going?
No. I'm talking about the design of the place. Okay.
Okay,
it
that
goes,
just shows.
the floor will be designed, as a flat Earth map. All right. The center, the North Pole, in the middle will be the DJ stand. Right. It will have like a mountain from the center. It will be the DJ stand, and the circle around it, the Antarctica, will be the bars. All right. Now, on the top, you'll have like the sun and the moon circling. This will be the VIP sections. They're like circling around this thing, and we create like a model, which is a party. But this is just my creative fantasy and pretty much of like.
No, I think you brought me and Paul right into that fantasy. Now, I think me and Paul are visualizing, disco balls and DJs like Mark Devlin and stuff spinning the tunes and people.
Maybe my history is the DJ and radio announcer or whatever that came with that fantasy, but yet to be happening. Anyway, we got like lots of fantasies about like creating over here something, and of course we'll be more than able to provide all these great things because me and my flat Earth partners, we are well talented and qualified people to host everyone and to get over here. And what we need from you guys or from anyone in the world that hears it right now, that if people are interested in that, in like coming to Israel for a few days of like traveling, exploring this holy land, experimenting flat Earth, going to flat Earth convention, bringing of course speakers and everything, doing like an event day, doing this whole flat Earth package experience, whatever. And I think
I'm visualizing an initial response team for Nir, and a group of us go over to Israel, and we do exactly what Nir's suggesting.
This energy.
It's a whole experience, right? That's the thing. It's the whole Holy Land experience. You don't just come from a convention, but you're going to obviously. I mean, if you're going to be there, you got to see some of the sites, and you got a culture and get involved in activism.
I'm with you on that.
I mean, I'm curious. If we shot a laser at the Dead Sea, are we going to find curvature?
Big time. It's a collaborative of things, right? The trips, the experiments, like you said, the sightseeing, activism, hanging out, observations. The list is endless.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that if you look at, for instance, the Flat Earth Convention in Amsterdam, it was lovely, it was nice and everything. But, people got over there by themselves, bought their tickets, got over there with their transportation by themselves, and kind of like got into this convention of one day, which was a great effort of Gary and Didi, and I do appreciate them, and the activism afterwards and all that. But this wasn't like the country that kind of like got the flat earthers with open arms. Okay, let's say it like that.
Understood.
And kind of like in Israel, if people will come over here, we are promised to, build a very structured program and with, transportation and all the things that people will need in order to make this trip. They won't be like on their own. And I think it's kind of like what we need to know right now is, if the assist of you guys or whoever is listening to this show, is are people are up to that? Do people want that?
I would say if the chat room, we've got about 39 people in the YouTube chat room just now. I don't know how many people are in the other chat room, but if everyone in the chat room is listening to what Nir's suggesting, as you just heard him talk about, he was suggesting about people coming over to Israel and having a look at what the country has to offer, as the country is holding its arms open to everybody that knows they're not living on what they were taught. And as Nir said, it's not just a trip for a convention, it's really a journey, the experiments, the observations, the sightseeing, land that's been depicted in scriptures across the board, activism, hanging out, if you are up for something like that in the future, please type 1 in the chat room. And if you're watching this on a playback, I implore you, please pop a comment, even if you just want to put a number. Pop a comment in the comment section and hit 1 if you are down for what Nir is suggesting. I, for one, would like to know where to sign, as do other people in the chat room. I'm seeing 1, 1, 1, 1. We're getting 1.
Yeah,
so that's a yes.com, Nir.
Great. Okay, so start being active about it, right?
Yeah, and another 1. Keep them 1s. Yep, another 1. Yep, we've got 1s.
Where? Yeah, can we buy tickets today?
Today is Yom Kippur, so it's kind of like hard to print tickets today. But we will do the efforts.
What would be a good time of year? I'm thinking weather-wise to be outside, to be in country there.
Yeah, I think that Passover over here, it's like Easter time, around like the month of April or May. The weather is lovely, and of course Passover is over, like very symbolic. It's the holiday that commemorates the Exodus from Egypt and getting into the Holy Land, and this is one of the main holidays, and it tells so much with which parallels to the journey that we are doing in this flat Earth. Okay, with like discovering the truth and getting out of like bondage into freedom and all of that. So it's very symbolic. This is how I look at it: like Passover and Easter at your time.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounds perfect.
Think about. So yeah, I would love to be there. I would love to experience it. I've never been to the Holy Land. I have a lot of family members that have, and people that I know, and they always come back raving about it and talking about what they saw, heard, and just the culture and everything. So
I do believe that one thing which is very typical to Israel is that everyone is like finding his own special journey in Israel, because the thing is that this land gives you the option to get some answers for your unsolved questions, and everyone got their own different questions. Okay, so what I expect is not that I will tell people you will feel that and that and that once you come over here. Okay, because it's not possible to express that in words. Each one over here that will come will have his own unique and special experience and things that he relates more or less to the things that we got over here in Israel. Some people are more connected to the holy places. Some people will just want to feel the energies of the place. So the possibilities are endless, and I'm quite like even fascinated from like if we do go for that. I know that people beforehand will start searching about Israel and the connections of flat Earth to Israel and all kinds of like connections in the Bible. I'm letting all the flat earthers in the world do the job on that one and to explore themselves. I know they are good at that. Okay, to start exploring and researching. Oh, this Bible phrase say that, and it's connected to that place in Israel. I got to go and check this out and all those things. So I'm counting on you guys.
Oh, brilliant. No, you can count me in. Sign me up 100%.
Yeah, we'll find a way to get it done. So, again, people
Where
are
there's a will, there's a way.
I threw your YouTube channel and Facebook group for ESH News in the chat. I'll do it again here before the stream ends. So please go and connect with Nir. Let him know, your level of interest. Please, share the information. And as this develops, Nir, obviously keep us informed, because 2020. Do you think this could happen in 2020, or what do you think?
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be in 2020 because it's so symbolic. Come on, it has to be.
It has to be because it's Photoshop, because it has to.
No, but it's not Photoshop. It's real Israel, real holy flat land. I can see the poster right now.
Well, that sounds. It sounds like an amazing experience, and that's what it would be about. Obviously, you would go and the experience would probably be something you would never forget, for sure, especially that time of year, because I know it can get pretty hot in the summer there.
No. It's like the springtime in Israel is lovely. In the summertime it's hell, and also like everyone is out of like schools and everything is packed. So no, but over like Passover, and it's quite lovely weather, and we have a great time over here.
Fantastic. Well, you got a lot of support in the chat room as well. I can see a whole load of ones. There's a wave of ones in the chat room. So that's a yes.com from us.
That's a yes.com. We've still got a time for a few calls. If anybody would like to jump on line 212.
I will just say mission accomplished for today.
Love it. Oh, if we can squeeze some calls in, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll put the phone number again in the chat here. So if anybody would like to give us a ring and say hi to Nir, then please do so. we can definitely fit a few in, and I'm going to throw the links in there for your Facebook group for ESH News and also for your YouTube channel. So while we're waiting for the...
All right. If you don't have nothing to talk about, again, congratulations for your new show. What is expected? And what is expected?
What's on the forecast? You mean?
Yeah. For your show, what is going to be on?
Well,
what can we give away? Oh,
come on.
Well, we're going to be doing some branding. For those of you that hear the podcast that Mitchell and I do weekly, we've been doing a little bit. Had some help in putting together some of the intro and outro and stuff. So we're going to be beefing things up here on Truth Frequency Radio as well, branding wise. But it's going to be focused on. I mean, it's probably really going to be this. The conversations are not going to stray too far from what we have been. Really, the globe lie is that is what we ask people to research. The globe lie now. We don't really say flat Earth. Roxanne, you've got a really good explanation as to why that puts you into a box, and then the proof, the burden of proof is on you, and the conversation on the streets should be about helping people to realize that we've been lied to. And as I say that, I want to squeeze some call, and I see we have a call that came in, area code 360. You're on live with Paul and Roxanne and Nir. What's going on tonight?
Woo.
Hey, Paul, Roxanne and Nir. It's Dan, Belly Music Journey. How are you guys doing?
Oh, we're good, darling. How are you?
Great. No, I watched with great interest and so happy with the way your Globe Light Tour went over there.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much. Your support means a tremendous amount.
I think I threw a little in on Paul on the Plains live show.
Oh, thank you, my darling. Every little helps to keep our wheels turning
you guys
across
are
that
awesome.
tundra.
Appreciate that.
Big time. Thank you.
Yeah. One thing I thought would be a really cool outreach program, we should do a GoFundMe, and maybe this is something I can get going if nobody's done it yet.
Mm-hmm.
Is it possible, I'm going off the subject Nir, but I do like that Israel meetup idea too, or convention, that's awesome. And the club.
Thanks.
Yeah, the club.
Yeah, great design. But just, I think it's child abuse what we're doing to our kids throughout the world with teaching them this globe lie and this fantasy that they can be saved by going to Mars from, the insanity of Earth that they're trying to promote. And what I was wondering about is, maybe we can, one idea would be to raise money for getting all the kids P900s instead of iPads in the schools and let them go out and work on their own tests.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah. Start at the grassroots. I know they won't get it into the schools, immediately. I do know a school board member that I have been educating, and he's kind of on the program, but it's hard to address because the programming comes up from the, national governments and trickles down to the school boards with the programming with all their textbooks,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right.
And even the
As Brian
homeschoolers
says as well, it's a great
get corrupted.
idea.
The homeschoolers even the homeschoolers end up getting programming from above that they try and infest into the homeschooling programs.
Oh, great look.
But anyhow, I'll work on something positive there. This is very positive, you guys. So just a shout out to all you guys for working so hard on your activism. Thanks for having me on the
Thank
show.
you, my darling. We're just doing all we can to help push this out to the masses.
Thank you. Paul, hope to see you soon on the other side of the mountains.
I got to stop heading east. I keep going east. I got to start west again.
Sounds good. All right. Good night, you guys. Thanks.
Good night.
Stay flat.
Good night, my darling.
Thank you. Yeah, good stuff. We got time for probably one more call, 213-233-3998 if you'd like to chime in. So, Nir, what's while we're waiting to see if another call comes in, what's next for you?
Okay. One thing I wanted to mention in this, if I have the opportunity to do so, is one other initiative which is related to Flat Earth that I want to be involved in, and the conflict. Thought about it. I own a private business. Okay. And what I've thought about is like a corporation between flat Earth businesses, meaning people who own the private business and want to cooperate together. Because from what I saw, like people like to be, with businesses with people they trust, I guess, and flat earthers, I guess, trust each other or something like that. Now, one of the initiatives that I thought of is to kind of like qualify businesses to be a flat earth business, okay? Meaning, for instance, in my business, we had like on the website, we have a translation business. So on the website, as almost any other translation company, you have a picture of the globe, okay?
Yeah.
Once we discovered the flat earth, I told the ASI, come on, get all those globe pictures out of this website now. And,
Love it.
And for instance, so this is kind of like something active that you can do among businesses. And besides that, to cooperate between businesses and to advertise each other's businesses and to create some kind of like a community together that people will be worthwhile of being like flat earthers. Okay, it could be financially worthy for them. It will replace the comments saying that people don't want to be exposed because they think that it will damage their businesses. That's so right. I think it could be the contrary. It could be contributing to their businesses.
Hey, Nir.
And yeah.
Hey, Nir. Sorry, buddy. I got to cut you off because the show is over.
Oh, anyway.
Appreciate it. It was good to get to know you, and a lot more to come. Roxanne, good night to you.
Thank you, my darlings.
Massive
love to everyone who tuned in, and to you, Nir, for joining us. Big love to you, Paul.
Good night, everybody. Mark, and some guy named Mark is next with Strange World. So.